One of the weapons added alongside Araxia is the Scyotid. Curiously enough, this weapon has reduced synergy with Araxia compared to other frames due to how it operates. Normally, that'd be a bad thing, but in this case it's because the weapon is so useful that it can change whole builds. I'm TheKengineer, let's solve a practical problem. This is currently the 250th video live on my channel, not counting unlisted, outdated videos. If you've enjoyed the collection so far, grab a mug or other merch items to support the channel with the link in the video description. The Scyotid, earned from Isleweaver, is a thrown weapon masquerading as a pistol. By that I mean it doesn't come up in the thrown weapon filter, it doesn't take thrown weapon skins, and you can't use thrown weapon mods on it. Despite all this, you still throw it. Stat-wise, it performs really quite well compared to other non-incarnate thrown weapons. It has an innate 4 multi-shot, giving it much higher status application than its base stat would suggest. While this doesn't improve the average status damage of the weapon, a base 18% status, giving it functionally a base 72% per throw, is a strong point to mod from. The Scyotid also has workable critical stats. The 24% chance and 2.4 multiplier isn't the highest, but it's far from a bad base to work from. Its damage is entirely in the throw, not an explosion like Kastana's or Agrit, meaning it can fully benefit from headshot effects. It also has innate punch through to enable it to hit multiple enemies with this direct fire. To top it off, it has beyond generous magazine for its fire rate. At 40 magazine to 2.4 base fire rate, a single magazine lasts nearly 17 seconds unmodded. The next best are the static ore under 14 seconds, or the Hiku Prime at not even 5 seconds per magazine. The base damage is low compared to most thrown weapons, but again, the innate multi-shot entirely makes up for that, and then some. From just this perspective then, it is already best in class for a non-explosive, non-incarnate thrown weapon. And yet, this is not why so many people want the Scyotid. It has a very unique alt fire, consuming 4 ammo for a single throw, launching a projectile that travels until it hits an enemy or surface. On landing, this projectile then tethers up to 8 enemies in line of sight, out to a max of 15 meters, and near instantly scoops them into a very tight cluster. This only grabs enemies that are not held by another control effect, such as Webbed Embrace. With increased multi-shot, the number of enemies that can be grabbed increases, while the range of the effect is unmoddable. Enemies grabbed this way are stunned for a few seconds. As it's a crowd control effect, overguarded enemies and some VIP units are entirely unaffected by the alt fire. This grouping effect deals as much damage as a single barb from the primary fire, with no innate multi-shot and punishingly lower critical chance, but twice the status chance. With a well-modded status, this allows for grouped enemies to be reliably procced at the same time, such as with Viral. I cannot overstate just how impressively effective this is. A fast-firing, no energy, 10 uses per magazine, 15 meter radial group effect is extremely good. It being attached to a weapon that can also deliver killing blows, rather than a low damage utility item, is incredible. This ends up feeling more like the power of a utility in Kanon, not just a basic brand MR12 weapon. Let's compare to some other grouping tools here. Scyotid has nearly twice the pull range of Vazarin's Void Snare, without locking you to a focus school, but with a shorter duration. Scyotid's pull range is equal to 150% range cast in Snare, with a faster pull speed, no cast time, no energy cost, and doesn't require targeting an enemy to propagate from. In exchange, it doesn't last as long and can't be modded for yet further range. Scyotid's pull range is equal to 133% range on Lava on Nidus, or 188% range when Lava is subsumed to another Warframe. The grab duration is again much shorter on Scyotid than Lava, but is recastable without having to kill all enemies first, and again has no energy cost. Scyotid also doesn't ragdoll enemies, allowing for precision headshots to still be reliably used. Scyotid's range is also equal to 188% range on Airburst, again doesn't cost energy, doesn't ragdoll, and lasts for about the same duration. Airburst however can also be used to spread enemies, rather than only group them, and can deal more damage with the grouping. Putting it simply, for the cost of your secondary weapon slot, Scyotid allows you the power equivalent of an entire subsumed ability with no energy cost, no range modding needed, and still leaves you able to subsume something else to your taste. As the Scyotid's grouping ability is only directly modified by multi-shot, you can mod it entirely for the main attack and let the utility carry itself. That includes a direct damage approach like this, utilizing the easy headshot capability and grouping effect to make lethal blast waves. Galvanized Shot is additive to other pure damage modifiers on the Scyotid, but it's still a solid damage and status buff here. While Scorch would give more status chance than primed heated charge, the extra heat damage makes for easier lethal hits and a higher blast proc priority overall. With no kill stacks at all, this is already capable of grouping 21 enemies simultaneously. At full stack, this climbs to 31. You'll be hard pressed to find more than 31 enemies in a 15 meter line of sight radius long enough for this restriction to hold you back. In terms of damage output, fully stacked with 2 procs on target, this lands an average of 14k damage per throw before crits. With crits, taking the 72% critical chance and 5 times multiplier, that's now 55k average damage per throw. With headshots added in too, this climbs to 414k. The enemy levels need to climb by quite a bit before that stops being lethal, especially when you can throw that damage out over 3 times a second and it has punch through. The relatively low status chance per hit means blast isn't perfectly effective here, but still works a charm on Steel Path. Taking the 29.9% blast chance per projectile, a single headshot throw applies on average 4.6 blast procs. If the hit is lethal, that's an AoE of 214,000 damage per target on average. Given the tight clustering, no ragdoll, innate punch through, and easy ability to just throw more shots if the first volley doesn't wipe them all out, it's effortless to achieve reliable explosions on each cluster. Resistant enemies like acolytes can be a pain as usual. External support will take this further still. As ever, Valence Formation's guaranteed elemental procs are brilliant here. Crit boosts like Arcane Avenger and Tenacious Bond will enhance the crits for all enemies, and good old buffs like Raw just keep on winning. With a bit of sensible support, blast waves in the millions of damage is perfectly realistic. Did I mention this is a basic MR12 weapon, not even a prime? If however, you intend to get little to no kills with Scyotid, you can instead take this approach. This keeps the multi-shot as high as it can manage, focusing otherwise into long-lasting, useful status effects. The Arcane Secondary Fortifier means you can leech Overguard from those control immune Xmas very quickly, enhanced further by the inclusion of magnetic damage, making those enemies rapidly vulnerable to your control as well. I've included Galvanized Shot as the minus 10% status chance modding only brings down the overall status chance from 128% to 125% on the alt fire compared to Sure Shot. Likewise, I've done the same with Galvanized Diffusion. In exchange, you have vastly higher damage potential from just a couple incidental kills, which will make the overguard breaking even easier. A headshot with this fully stacked on an overguarded enemy with 2 not magnetic procs will deal on average 414,000 damage. Non-overguarded enemies will naturally take a lot less, typically just 52,000 damage without counting magnetic and viral effects with no blast waves. Either which way you use it, the unique function remains astonishingly easy to use. Whether you're combining it with a blast effect, or a burst AoE ability, or just grouping and controlling enemies to stem the tide of incoming damage, it just works. The only restraint needed is that firing another tether before the first one lands will delete the one in flight. Don't spam it, and you're good. The Scyotid might be one of the most powerful basic weapons introduced in a long time. A big thank you as ever to all channel supporters. You too can support the channel through merch or Patreon right now with the links below. You get extra stuff and help the channel be community supported, not sponsored. That's all from me for now, so as always, group foes, aim throws, and fight well, Tenno.